Okay, here we are back in the cabin. Um, so I found that mother lode under that one tree, and I got all jacked, and I thought, here we go. It's go time. But uh, that was the end of it. So the terrain I'm in out there where I hunt is pretty extreme. I mean, it's like a mini mountain, and the incline is literally like this. So to climb this hill, you have to literally dig the edges of your boots in. You have to wear boots with sharp, hard soles and dig them in and grab trees to help pull you up the hill. It's so steep. As a result of the terrain being so extreme, nobody hunts it. It's too much work. In fact, I was having some problems, some medical problems. No, not because of this. Uh, but I was in such a hurry to get out the door this morning to get to the woods and get picking in case the sun came out and it got wicked hot like it was yesterday. And I had all that drama going on this morning, which has really blown up in my face now. I'm not even going to get into it. But anyway, put it this way. It looks like next weekend, where I was only going to dedicate one day to hunting and the other day was going to be doing something with somebody special. She's being poisoned again by somebody else, and that probably is not going to happen. But anyway, I said I wasn't going to drag you into this shit because that's not why you're here. It's to watch some guy's love life fall apart. Anyway, so I call this place, this mountain, Big Steepy. That mother lode that I found was at the base of Big Steepy in a valley under a tree that I have never, in the 15 years I've been hunting out here, ever found a mushroom. Another good tree that was 25 feet behind me that consistently for several years produced at least 6 big yellow morels hasn't spit one up in 3 years. It's weird. And what's even weirder is you hear all these stories about people that are finding great big flushes of morels under a dying elm and stuff like that. What's weird in this location is the mushrooms only come up in a certain section, and it's never the same. It's not all the way around the tree, like you would think, and like what you hear people say. In my area, it may be for them, but it's not for me. I'm finding them off to one side of the tree and just like a little clump of them, and that's all the tree produces that year. And then the next year they'll be on the totally other side of the tree, and there'll be a clump of them or a line of them or something going down the hill. It's weird. So this tree had them all off to the right side and nothing around the rest of the tree. Okay, fine. What do I care? Get out the knife, get it cutting. So that was at the base of Big Steepy, so I was all jacked to climb Big Steepy, which takes a lot of enthusiasm to climb a hill that's literally that steep. So I start climbing around on Big Steepy, and I didn't find anything. And I got some monster trees up there. These trees got to be 100 years old. So big I can't get my arms around them. The certain kind of tree that I'm looking for. So anyway, I finally get to one of these trees, and I almost stepped on them. And no, I wasn't rushing, because you can't rush up an incline like this. Here they were all dead and rotted already. There was about 6 of them in this clump, and they're all just laying on the ground, all soft and mushy and rotted. I'm like, son of a beep. last weekend, if I would have climbed Big Steepy, they would have been perfect. But instead, what does Ken do? Oh, the woods are too dry. I'm too early. Yeah, screw this. Let's go home. So here's a lesson. If you do any morel hunting for any length of time in the same woods, you're going to be observant of some things. So in my particular situation, I have like 4 or 5 different zones, climate zones, almost like. So one chunk of woods, all the forest fauna, which is, for those of you that don't know, is the understory or the brush and the stuff on the forest floor. In that area, it'll be way up. Ferns will be up, jack and the pulpits will be up, mayaples, all the different plants that you normally find on the forest floor, they'll be up. The leeks, the wild onions, those will be up, damn near dying. And then you go to another section, and there's hardly anything coming out of the ground. And it all has to do with temporal climate zones. So, like on top of a hill, for example, you may not find as lush understory vegetation as you do down in a valley, because the valley is cooler, it's protected, it's more moist, etc. So I have like 4 of these different zones in the small area that I hunt. And stupid me, I didn't think about the fact that, well, the area that you're currently in that looks dry like soda crackers and nothing is coming up out of the forest floor, yeah, the whole damn area that you hunt is going to be the same way. Bloody hell. So if I would have just not given up so quick and not been lazy and not wanted to climb Big Steepy, I would have hit it perfect. Now, as a result, today, I scaled the whole entire length of Big Steepy, all the way along its face and around the corner. And the medical issue I was talking about is when I got around the corner, since I didn't have breakfast this morning, I started to get blurry vision, lightheaded. It was hard to focus, and I had to sit down for a while. And I didn't know what was happening, and I thought I might not make it to the Jeep. Where I finally sat down, I could actually see the Jeep. So I contacted that special person and told her where I was and everything, just in case I went radio silent. She was the only one that knew where I was, and she could come and find me. Of course, I wouldn't be alive, and I kind of joked around. I said, the keys for the Jeep are in the right pocket. Enjoy the ride. But anyway, so, yeah, she might not ever get to enjoy the ride now, but, so I had like 3 more trees to check, so I soldiered through, and of course there was nothing under them, but it was a whole different climate zone there. The foliage was way up high, everything was different. On the side of the hill where steepy, where the mushrooms were dead, it was farther advanced along. It was a whole different ball game. Plus that was getting some sun exposure. All these variables you got to think about. So, yeah, I only walked out of there with, I'd say maybe 12 mushrooms. So after I got back to the Jeep, I think what we need is some more heat. So yesterday was blistering hot. Today ended up being really cool, but it was muggy. I don't think it got above 70 degrees today. It's weird. Yesterday was in the 80s, mid 80s. So I think we need a couple more of those 80-degree days because we received a really good rain. I mean, the ground over there was just saturated. If we got a couple more 80-degree days, I think something might happen again. So next weekend, Saturday, I'm going to go out there one last time and just check some spots. I already know the Big Steepy's done. Kenny, stop making excuses. Just check Big Steepy again. You know, load up on some breakfast and get her done. So I'm going to hit all my spots again next Saturday. And one tree that for the last 2 years has been producing a mother load looked perfect. The understory was at the right height. Everything looked good. Not one mushroom under it. So that can happen. Some years it won't produce, and then all of a sudden, there it is. So there's some Morels in the dehydrator right now. And I'm going to give it one last shot next Saturday, and that's going to be it for the end of the season. It's over. On my way out, well, when I got back to the Jeep, I pounded some fluids, and I happened to find an old stale granola bar under the seat of the Jeep. So I wolfed that down, sat there for a little while, had a couple of smokes, and then I felt better. So I went down the trail a little ways and checked my fiddlehead spots, and those are they're already all up and uncurled, and there's no new shoots coming out or anything like that. So I gave up on that. I thought, well, I just better get home, just in case something bad is happening to me and I don't know what's going on. So I came on home. But yeah, that was the hunt for today. But I'll tell you what, those big boys that were under that tree, every time you see that, so you're walking through the woods, you come up to a spot, and you're like, this is a spot, and you stop. You always stop. Don't just go stomping up on it and start stomping around the tree. Just stop and let your eyes do the work. Scan. And if you have to, get down on your hands and knees and actually look underneath all that understory. You'll see those things standing straight up. Now, in this case, they weren't, because they were so big and we got that hard rain that all of them had fallen over and were laying on the ground. But I could see them from 15 feet away. I was like, yes. So that's the day. And then when I get home, shit hits the fan, and everything I've worked so hard for in the last couple of days implodes. So I don't know where that's going to go. I hope it turns out okay. I'm going to say a prayer tonight because this person is very special to me. And this is the person I talked about earlier, and she decided to come back into my life. And I know there's a reason, and it's from up there, and I just hope and pray that she realizes who's pulling the strings on this. And it sure isn't her demon friend that is trying to constantly sabotage our relationship, which is what's happening right now. The person pulling the strings is up there, and she needs to rise above and realize that and not be poisoned in her thought process by a demon. That's my opinion. So it is what it is. If it's meant to be, it will be. But before I stare at the back of my eyelids tonight, I am going to say a prayer that it works out. And on that note, next time I see you, it'll be next Saturday, Lord willing.